All right, everybody, we are back again for another episode of the Coach's Compass. Now, remember, I don't know what episode it is. I just continue to record, continue to bring on cool guests from all across the world. Now, hit that like, subscribe, comment button down below so you continue to have this thing grow. Continue to bring on cool guests from all over the world. Now, I've got another special guest with me here today. I've got Coach Clara, who is from Sacred Heart University, working with a strength and conditioning, also a former Akron soccer player, and also from the other side of the pond, right over there in Germany. Coach, thank you, and welcome to the Coach's Compass.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
I know it's been a long time coming. We finally got things figured out because that's the life of a coach, life of an athlete. Like we're always just bouncing around on these schedules. How has it been for you though to transition from being an athlete to now coaching athletes on a regular basis?
It was definitely a huge change. I mean, as an athlete, like everything is planned for you. You just go to practice, give your best, and then you're done for the day. But like as a coach, you're like responsible for the session. So you have to plan everything. You are the one holding people accountable. And it's a huge change and also like time effort that you have to put in. But on the other side, it's an amazing feeling to know that you are able to have an impact on athletes. And that's what I wanted. So I'm glad I got to that point.
You think you could go out there and still compete with your athletes, or do you think it's over with? You're washed up now.
I'm honest with you, I still do. especially especially with my men's soccer team. I still train like an athlete, and it was a challenge because I tore my ACL 3 times. Um, yes, 3 times.
Gosh.
I had 4 knee surgeries, and because the last surgery didn't go well, so they had to go back in and clean some things up, basically. But I still compete with my athletes, not all the time, but if I feel like there's the right time to do it, I would do it every day, probably. Yeah, I think showing athletes that you are like all in is a huge factor when it comes to like buy-ins. And I'm not saying that you have to be an athlete to be able to coach. I'm not saying that, but it kind of puts things in perspective for your athletes. They're like, oh, like she was an athlete too. She knows exactly what we are going through, and she's willing to push herself to make us better doing sessions. Yeah.
Good for you for still getting out there, but four surgeries, but three ACL tears.
Yeah.
How was it mentally coming back from that, and then kind of what do you try to portray into your athletes, like knowing like the injuries that they go through and how like that's a pretty serious one. That's a long recovery time. There's not like it's like hey you go out get it scoped out and 3 4 weeks later you can jump back in. Like that's a serious process you went through.
It is a serious process. It's 4 years of hard recovery. Like if you put it in perspective, because ACL is like a year at least, depending on the athlete, of course. Um, Coming back from that, like there was no way for me I'm gonna quit soccer because I committed to Akron in 2019, and a couple weeks before I was supposed to fly there, I tore my ACL for the second time. So I stayed at home, focused on my rehab for a year, and then basically committed again. And in 2022, that was my end of sophomore year, I tore my ACL again in the US. And the only reason I decided to quit soccer, I medically retired after that. So I quit soccer because my surgeon or my doctor looked at me and was like, Clara, can I ask you a question? I was like, sure. And he was, do you want to stay active in the future? Like, you want to coach, right? And I was like, yeah, I want to coach. And do you want to walk around, play soccer with your kids and whatever? And like, yeah. And he was like, you should probably stop playing then, because you risk a lot of like long-term health issues. We had many conversations about me also struggling mentally, because you can't enjoy your sport anymore. You're just in your head, it's just like, what if I make a wrong step and it happens again? Because the last 2 ACLs were non-contact. So
Oh
there's
wow.
nothing I did to prevent that, basically. It's a mental battle. And then is it worth it to put your health at risk and maybe continue or move on from that and find a new purpose in life? And I think the biggest challenge about that was trying to figure out who you are, because your whole identity, or at least that's what you think, is attached to soccer. You're like, this is me. Like I played soccer my whole life, all day, every day. And then like out of nowhere it's gone. So you're like, who am I? Like I'm nothing without soccer because I was always known for that. Oh yeah, Clara, she plays soccer, she's really good, blah blah. Everyone knows you just because of that. And then you're like, I don't know who I am. I might have to figure that out. And when that happened, I was like, that's literally when I decided I want to become a strength and conditioning coach because I want to become a coach that can help athletes to continue their career healthy and stay healthy throughout their career. Because I don't think anyone should go through what I had to go through.
Yeah. And I think that goes into the next part of this is like, how do you, so going through all of that, do you think you could have prevented any of those injuries from happening? And then, nowadays, everybody likes to say that, an athlete gets a super serious injury. If they just would have done this exercise a little bit more, they could have not had the injury. Now, do you believe in that stuff? And then how are you helping your athletes realize that, like, sometimes injuries are just nature? Like, it just happens. Like, that just is what the sport does. Every sport that you play.
I think it's a critical topic. We hear about it all the time, and I try not to use the word prevention because there is no single exercise that can prevent ACL injuries from happening. And like I said, I was a really good athlete. I worked super hard for all my recoveries. Looking back, probably weren't the best ones because now I know better. But no, there's no single exercise, and there's also a lot of other factors that play into that, especially as a female, like hormones, like sleep, nutrition, and a bunch of other factors that play into that. And I think injury prevention is not a term. If you can say it, it's probably reducing the risk of getting injured. So what I'm trying to preach with me being a coach is creating more positional awareness, them trying to understand what can help them, like in on-field situations when it comes to change of direction, deceleration, force absorption, all of those terms. And I know we don't want to dive too deep into strength and conditioning terms, but there's a lot that plays into that.
I know. I know.
The most important thing for me, like looking back, is find a good either PT or coach that can help you with that. Because I was like all alone, especially for my first two ACLs. How rehab in Germany works is a little different to how it works in the US. Because you usually have PT for the first couple months and then you're on your own. And I wouldn't say I was able to afford like a personal trainer every week. So it was me and using the knowledge that I had in my early years, and it probably wasn't a good one, trying to figure out how to get stronger. And it was a bunch of just like thousands of walking lunges and this and that. And yeah, but like, this is not how it works. And my advice is if you ever go through that, find someone that can help you. But first of all, listen to yourself.
Yeah. What was that transition though, going from Germany to America? Because and you not only go from Stuttgart, Germany, to like different, like great parts of America, like we're talking about, like Florida and stuff. You go to Ohio, and then you go to Connecticut. Like that is a crazy transition because those are completely different areas, and it's complete. I don't know if anything in Europe can kind of replicate what it's like to go to Akron, Ohio. So how was that transition over?
I can't say I knew what Akron looked like before I actually went there. When my teammates picked me up from the airport for the very first time, you're super scared. You're like, my English was even worse than it's now. It's better. Don't get me wrong. My conversations are way better, but you arrive there and you're like, wow, this is exactly what you see in American movies when they talk about ghettos and rough places. Excuse my language here. Akron, Ohio is a rough spot. Not everywhere, but especially around campus is probably not the best area. And I was safe, of course. Like I had my teammates around and they drove us wherever we needed to go. And I lived super close to the facility. So I wasn't like scared that anything is going to happen to me, but you start appreciating your life a little bit more because in Germany you can walk around during nighttime and nothing is gonna happen to you. Like, it's super safe. And then here in Akron, everyone tells you not to walk around, especially during nighttime, especially alone as a female. So there are a lot of differences in what it looks like. You see way more homeless people, and we have homeless people in Germany too, but it's just a different level. And regardless, Akron felt like home. It still does, just because of the people that I met there. Like my teammates, the connections that I've made, I miss it a lot, even though I can't see myself retiring in Akron, Ohio.
So we can find Coach Clara moving back to Akron, Ohio for the rest of her life soon, huh? You miss it that much.
Exactly.
But you jump into coaching your first year, after coming off an injury. What was it like, that the things that nobody told you about that coaching takes with it that you wish you would have known before you got into it?
Definitely the communication part, being able to, sit in meetings with your coaches and figure out how you explain to them what you preach as a coach, and figuring out what they want out of your programming and coaching. And I think I was super scared. The first couple times I was sitting in there, I was like shaking probably. I was like, oh God. And it's really not that big of a deal, because if you just be yourself and explain to them why you're here and what your goal is, they will let you do anything you want because they trust you. And it took me a little bit too long to realize that. I think I was way too hard on myself, overthinking everything, and I still do, because I'm still in my early years, and I think overthinking coaching never stops. But I should have just trusted myself a little bit more, especially in my first year. And the other part is, and that's something that's probably specific to Sacred Heart University, is like the roster size. Because I coach, I assist with football, which is usually a big roster size, but then I have rowing, fencing, and men's soccer, and rowing has a roster size of 60 girls right now. Oh, yes.
Okay, did not know that.
Yeah, so you stand in front of 60 athletes, usually not at the same time, because a lot of them have class conflicts and probably have to make up their lift, but the whole weight room is packed and you have to control that room. You have to be able to communicate efficiently, because you don't have enough time to go to every single athlete and coach them up. There's just no way you can do that in 1 hour. So it requires you to learn quickly, communicate effectively, efficiently, and then managing a weight room that has 60 athletes in there at the same time.
Yeah, because I mean, that's a huge difference in coming from Germany and then coming over to the States of dealing with a big weight room, but also, your early years of coaching, like you want to say yes to everything, right? Like you want to be involved in all the coaching stuff, but how do you deal with, the work-life balance and not getting burnt out and telling people like, hey, no, I can't be present for this. Like I need to take my time to myself. Because I think that's also a big difference in America compared to living in Europe is like you guys have it like figured out pretty well compared to us. Like we're really into work ourselves to death, but like you guys are like, no, like there's a little more to life than this. So how do you balance all that out?
That's a big one. And I've had that conversation with my mentors, and they're great many times. I think early you go through phases in your coaching life. And that's something I've learned from them. So I'm literally just repeating what they told me, because I truly believe in that. You go through phases in your coaching life, especially in your early life, and coaching career is just a grind. So as a GA, you are probably there all day and then go to class. Times will change, and it's probably the time you will have to accept it and kind of start embracing that grind. Because my first year was like, is that really what I want? Because I was there all day, and like you said, I said yes to everyone who wanted help, who wanted extra work. So I didn't even get my own workout in anymore. I didn't get homework done because I was just there on the platform coaching my athletes up 24/7. um, Being able to manage your time better. And then, like you said, learning how to say no, so you're actually able to get your own work done, is super important. My first year, like I said, it was hard. I was like, is that really what I want? But then you sit down for a minute, like, remember your why. Like, why are you doing this? How is that going to help you in your next career step? And I know this is going to help me a lot because we have to learn quickly, and we are exposed to all of the resources. It's amazing here at Sacred Heart. They give us a lot of opportunities to learn and to educate ourselves. And embracing that grind is like what I started doing now, because we are in camp, men's soccer is in camp, football is in camp, so I'm still there all day. This is my first morning in a while where I actually have a slow morning, time to sit down and talk. But I'm actually like I started to embrace it, like and enjoying the grind.
Do you feel restless not having something to like do right now? Like, is it weird to like, what, like my time's supposed to be filled with something?
Yes, I sometimes I feel like I have to do something. Um, because I woke up around 8 and I was like, "Oh god, it's so late," because I usually get up around 5. So it's like it feels weird, but then you have to remember, and I love my free time. Like I love to just sit down and read or go for walks or bike, do sport. I'm a super sporty person outside of my coaching life. So remembering that you have a life outside of being Coach CK, that's how they call me here, is super important.
And I know you, Coach CK, you're still early on in your career, but every coach has, just like sports, has an expiration date, right? This is going to end at one point. Have you thought of your exit plan and what you want to do next after you're done with coaching, or are we just going to retire and enjoy the family?
I don't think I will ever retire because I love it. I love helping people no matter what it's going to be. And I don't really have a plan yet what my life is going to look like after coaching, but I will never stop. Even if it's just coaching club soccer, I don't know. I don't really, it doesn't matter to me. I just enjoy helping young athletes, kids, older people. It doesn't really matter to get where they want to be and seeing progress and yeah, enjoying building relationships is huge for me. So even if I have kids one day, I don't think that's gonna stop. And maybe I just coach up my kids. No, don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna be hard on them.
You say that now, but future kids, if you hear this and see this, you heard it here first. Do you, now this is a hot take right here for you. Do you believe that athletic training, PT, strength conditioning can all come together and actually build one field that helps athletes, get back to where they need to be at? Because I think there's too much separation between all of them, right? Is it going to come together?
100%. And that's something I haven't mentioned yet, but I would love to start my own business one day. And that's like my thought process is building that holistic approach to coaching and training. Like you said, if it's going to be a sports performance facility, you have a PT there, you have an AT there, you have maybe a physician there, and then strength and conditioning coaches that work together on a daily basis. And I think I'm honest with you, that's something Sacred Heart is doing pretty well. I'm in constant contact with our AT and trying to figure out what our athletes need, and we work on their rehab together, so we are on the same page. But I think it can be even more than that, like you said, because that would give that holistic approach on not just rehab, but like optimizing performance.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it's super important. I mean, even as we think about our careers, back to what we wish would have been communicated across the line to help us play a little bit longer or being able to come back a little bit healthier. Now, Coach, before we get out of here, what's one thing you would want us to ask our next guest?
One thing. It's a very good question. I think when I reach out to other coaches, I'm usually super interested in their early coaching years, giving young coaches and like not wisdom, but a smart advice on how to maximize their time in like their early coaching years, like advice or tips or steps they have taken they wish they would have done earlier to make that next career step.
For you, since I mean you're still new in it, but you've experienced a lot of things, what would you say your advice would be?
Don't give up on your dream early, because the early coaching years are hard. And I think a lot of people realize that it might not be for them, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you have a true passion and love for helping athletes, don't quit. Just keep grinding, keep working, because it will pay off at the end.
I love it. Coach, thank you so much for your time today. I know you've got a lot going on, and I know you've got to enjoy this slow morning while it lasts. But I want to say thank you for coming on today. And as you guys say in German, Dankeschön and Auf Wiedersehen.
And thank you for having me.
Of course. And we're out.